As of last week, we know that the market changed a bit. You had the light PPI, the light CPI. We had a big gap and go on Wednesday. It ignited what I call a new active sequence. I went into that pretty flexible. And now I've been starting to massage some new positions that I put on as of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, hopefully thinking that, we could have some kind of sequence that's not going to be crazy with different tape bombs that we could manage and let the market make us money, and also just figure out how to use our tier system with it. The S&P cash, we had a big gap up here. This was last Wednesday. It gave us, 59.05 to trade against. That's what that is, 59.05. From there, you could have bought versus that, had a higher low. What was this on Thursday? And then on Friday, not quite enough power to break above this downtrend line, but a lot of thoughts were maybe they would sell the inauguration because it seemed too easy. And as of right now, there's been a lot of volatility, but we are up about 20 handles and off the morning highs, which is fine. Let people who don't have a lot of risk on, let them be able to navigate and potentially think about putting on some new positions. At this point here, this was your gap pivot, 589.20. I teach this all the time. Just like after earnings, you have a big earnings move, you have a strong report, you have a guide up, they give you a big pro earnings gap. And then sometimes if you're not an active trader, you say, I'm going to buy versus that pivot and let it beat me. Well, if you bought that day versus 589 or said, hey, I could buy somewhere in this candle versus that low, you got paid for those multiple days, and you're kind of getting paid for right now. We were as high as 601. There was a tape headline that Premier from China said, trade wars don't help anyone. And that I feel like brought in some sellers. So we're going to get this stuff back and forth. So just make sure you can handle whatever size you're comfortable with, and make sure that you have room to buy more if the trade doesn't change. If the trade changes, you get out of the way. Like here, we had a gap up on the CPI. It was a light CPI, light PPI. The narrative was inflation, higher rates could be troubling, and that eased some of those concerns. And then if you said, I'm going to be buying versus this gap up because that means there's power there. And if on this day, if it would have went below that and filled the gap, then hey, that thought and that narrative was wrong. But it wasn't, because you had a gap up, you held higher, and now we'll see, do we hold here and go sideways? As of right now, the SPYs themselves are up $1.93, 559.51. And now we'll see how much of today's strength does it hold. I'm already trimming a little bit of some things.
Sign up for Scott's free newsletter by scanning a QR code or clicking on the link in the profile bio.